Hi, I'm Glenn Ridge, and joining us on the line, competing in the FIA Formula 3 Championship, his first year, 19-year-old Hobart man, Alex Peroni joins me. How are you, Alex?
Hi, Glenn. I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Boy, what a learning curve you've had over the last month or so on the track. 3 races under your belt. How are you enjoying Formula 3?
Yeah, it's been a big year so far, and honestly, I'm loving it. The car to drive is amazing. Obviously, a lot more powerful and a lot more grip than last year, and as a driver, that's what you want. To be honest, being on the Formula 1 events is amazing. So, being able to be with the Formula 1 guys and even the Formula 2 guys is really cool.
How does the car differ, or Formula 3, as far as the competition is concerned, Alex? How does all that differ with the events you've been competing with in the past?
Yeah, it's a huge step. As I said before, the car's a big step, but also the competition. This year, there's 30 drivers. Probably half of them are race winners at the highest level and won championships, and people from the Ferrari driver program, Renault program, and all these guys. So it's truly the best young drivers in the world, and it's a good thing. To be the best, you have to beat the best. So it's a really good challenge, and I'm loving it so far. 3
races under your belt. What have you learned?
Learned a lot. We knew it was going to be a steep learning curve coming from Formula Renault. It's quite a big jump this year. But, we're learning, and I think we're getting there. The results so far haven't been amazing, but I think we're getting there, and by the end of the year, we'll have something to be proud of.
Now, talking about results, if we could just go race by race, and firstly at Circuit Barcelona in Spain, certainly qualified really well. First race, finished in 12th position. You got up to 9th in race 2, but you had a couple of issues at that meeting. Can you just fill us in, please?
Yeah, so qualifying was good. Being 9th was in the first race we were happy with. Obviously you always want more, and I think testing we showed more potential, but anyway, it's a good position to go forward. And I was a bit unlucky in race 1 to finish 12th. I felt like I had the pace to finish a bit more forward, but it's very hard to overtake, and I made some mistakes and things like that. And then race 2, made it up to 9th, and again felt like I could go forward. And then I had an issue going to turn 1 where I got swamped all these people because I didn't have DRS, and I ended up off the road, and I got a penalty for it. So stuff like that happens, but we took the positives out of it, and there were some positives. We had good pace, so that was good.
The racing in general seems to be a lot more cutthroat.
Yeah, it's very difficult this year, particularly because of the DRS. So the drag reduction system, if you're within a second of the car in front, you can open the rear wing and you gain a lot more speed down the straight, making it easy to overtake. But when you're in a line of cars, everyone has DRS, so the guy at the front's in trouble. So it's quite tactical, and it's sometimes quite difficult, even when you have good pace, to pull away. So it makes the racing really close, and I think we're all racers in this class, so we all love that aspect of it, but it's a lot more difficult than usual.
Alex, circuit Paul Ricard in France a couple of weeks ago, qualified 10th, again a good qualifying. Race 1 finished 8th and actually got up to 6th place there. Race 2, again you had an issue, squeezed off the track. What happened there?
Yeah, Paul Ricard, never really been my track. Never really enjoyed it, actually. But in this car, I really loved driving that track. I think it suits the car. Qualifying went well with 10th. And as always, it's so close. I think 1/10, I would have been P5. It was really close. And then race 1, I had a really good car at the start. I was making up positions, made my way into 6th, and think I would have been 5th because the guy in the front had a penalty or something. And then I started having issues with tyre degradation, and part of my floor broke, so I lost downforce and just ended up going backwards, but still managed to hold 8th, which meant reverse pole for race 2. So I started on pole, led the first lap, started feeling good, and then had the same problem as the race before. So my floor broke again in the same spot, lost downforce and grip, and then just started going backwards to tyre degradation. So yeah, I think I finished
14th,
14th, 15th, and it was just a matter of survival. So, I mean, as a team, we were super disappointed because we showed that we had the pace to win or be on the podium in that race. So to have those issues was really disappointing. And with how competitive this championship is, you really need to take those opportunities to get points, and we didn't. Anyway, I think we learned from it, and with what we learned, we can go forward.
Alex, you mentioned tyre degradation there. What form does that take, and is that an issue with the setup of the car?
So these Pirelli tyres, I'm sure anyone that follows Formula 1 have heard about tyre degradation. With the tyres, the way the championship wants the tyres to degrade is completely up to them, and they tell the tyre manufacturer how they want them to degrade, and they want a lot of tyre degradation to make the racing interesting. So as a driver, you can't really push at the start, and you have to concentrate on preserving your tyres. Obviously car balance makes a difference in that aspect, and it wasn't right, and so we had more tyre degradation than everyone else, and from my point of view, it's just about trying to keep the car on the road. So it's really hard because, you're with cars at the front and you want to be aggressive and pass them, but, in the back of your head, you have to think about your tyres.
Now, as far as the last event, Austria, Red Bull Ring, I guess of all the three, that's the one you prefer to forget about. But I'm sure, as you've said, you're learning all the time. It is only your third race in Formula 3. Just give us a quick recap over what happened in Austria, please.
I guess the results don't stay as bad as it was. I think I qualified 16th, and in the race, I got taken out when I was moving my way forward. I think I was in 13th or 14th, and I got taken out. So I went back, and where you finish in race 1 is where you start from race 2. I went to the back, made my way up to 23rd, 21st, and then that's where I started race 2. And then the car stalled on the grid, which we're still learning to see what happened. We had some clutch issue. So it was basically a test session, race 2, just trying to see where we were with pace and setup, because we made changes overnight. So we tried to see if they made any improvements, and it did. We had really good pace, and I made my way forward to 16th from last until I had a incident. But yeah, these things happen, and anyway, again, there's a lot of positives to take away, and I think we have the potential to easily be in the top 10, but we just got to maximise it.
Alex, as far as the team is concerned, you are the lead driver at the moment out of the three Campos Racing teams. How's your relationship going with the team? Have you seen that change in any way over for example, the last three races?
Yeah, it's going well. From the start, I had a good relationship with them, and it's going well so far. Sometimes it gets tricky because we're not where we want to be, obviously, and we need to make improvements, but that's where the relationship comes into play, and I think we're working well, and the car's moving in the right direction, and it's a good environment to be in, so I think we can definitely move forward.
As far as the driver-engineer relationship, has that changed over the three races of this year?
Yeah, it's starting to. I'm learning a lot this year from what I want in the car, because ultimately the engineer decides the changes, but the driver's input has a massive effect on that. So, I'm learning what feedback to give and what to ask from the car to suit me. And that's basically, the crux of the problem, I guess, is making the car to suit me and to be fast for me. Everyone has a different driving style and has different needs. So we're trying to sort that out. But I think we've made a step forward in that area. So that's a positive. When
you have a look at someone like, or a team like Primmer Racing, for example, and as far as the standings are concerned, their three drivers are first, second and fourth at the moment. The difference between the teams, I guess it's the same as any form of racing, and Formula One in particular. Obviously, a team has a different way of doing things. They may have different budgets or whatever. But what makes Primmer Racing a bit different to Campos Racing, do you think?
Not sure. I think it's hard to tell looking from the outside. Clear that they're a step ahead in basically every area, so it's very hard to compete against them. And they've got good drivers, they've got a good mix. So I think they're a team with a huge influence in the motorsport community, and I think they've just done the best in setting up the car. It's a new car, and for sure at the moment they're ahead. But I think towards the end of the season, teams will catch up, especially a team like ART that have won every championship except for one in the past years. So yeah, for sure they're a step ahead, but I think people catching up.
Alex, you're heading off to Silverstone, Great Britain, race 4. That's this coming weekend. What are your expectations? Have you raced Silverstone before?
Yeah, really, really excited. It's a track I love. I've been there twice before, and it's super fast, and that's what I love. I love fast corners and being on the limit. So I'm really excited for it, and we're just preparing for the moment on the sim and in the gym. So I think it's going to be a good weekend, so I'm really excited. When do you head over to Great Britain, and what do you do over the weekend? I think we fly in Wednesday, and then Thursday is just kind of technical briefings with the team, track walk and drivers briefing. Friday we have practice and qualifying, and then Saturday race 1, Sunday race 2. Compared to years before, it's not a lot of track time, so there's a lot of waiting around the weekend. But it's worth it when you get to drive this car. Now we're a couple of races under the belt as far as going to the gym or spending time on the sim. What does a week involve at the moment, Alex? It hasn't changed since the start. It's 5 days a week with the Campos trainer, training twice a day. But I think now it's summer, we get to do a bit more flying stuff and not just get stuck in the gym. So swimming and paddle surfing and things like that, which is good. And on the sim, so I've been to Silverstone, but never in this car. So this car's a lot different to the ones I've driven before. So it's important to be on the sim and get used to it before I go out there for real.
What would be a good weekend for you, a realistic weekend for you at the end of Silverstone?
I'll be happy if we maximise our potential, because we're yet to do that yet. We showed we've easily got top 10 pace, and I just want to maximise that and be in the top 10 all weekend. And I think we can do that. So, yeah, top 10.
Now, Alex, we do need to thank Bluntstone, also Tourism Tasmania, RACT and RDM Construction.
People like Bluntstone, RDM, RACT have been on board since 2016. Well, all my careers over there, they saved it really. And yeah, Tasmania coming on board this year, it's been amazing, and I can't thank them enough for what they're doing for me.
If anyone would like to find out more and check out some of the race results over the last 3 races and keep an eye on what Alex is doing, you can go to the website alex-peroni.com. Alex, always good catching up with you. Certainly hope you have a great time at Silverstone.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks. It'll be good.